Well, we know anecdotally that the rate of online scams occurring seems to be increasing, but the latest Scam Watch statistics from the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission back that up. The figures show business scams were up 53% in the last year. Joining me live now for more on this is David Badsevsky, the Executive Manager of Business Customer Solutions at Commonwealth Bank. David, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks, Stacey, for having me.
Can you give us a bit of a rundown on what some of the scams that small businesses are being hit with in your experience?
Firstly, thank you for having me today. I guess scams are obviously vitally important for us in cybersecurity in general. In the small business domain, we're seeing a number of scams proliferating, the likes of device takeover, stolen cards being utilised on online platforms, exposing both the cardholder but also the small business customer, and therefore putting them in a position where their business is potentially compromised.
Why do you think it is that small businesses are more likely to be targets? Do they generally have less security than larger businesses or less procedures in place to deal with scams when they find out about them?
Ultimately, it comes down to the resources and just the general education of small business. Large corporations have the means to be able to invest in cybersecurity, IT teams. Small business, unfortunately, are starting off fairly entrepreneurial, and being able to invest in that level of resources and tools is somewhat inhibiting. So it's the role of financial institutions and partners like CBA that can support our small businesses to make sure that they understand the risks but also have the tools available to them to mitigate the risk for both them and the cardholders.
Now, this is obviously a pretty big problem facing small businesses. Those statistics that the number of scams are up 53% on last year. But what does that actually mean? What sort of numbers are we talking here?
From a fraud perspective, AusPayNet in 2017 reported that fraud increased to over 560 million, whilst as a total quantum of total card or transactional turnover, it's quite small. That is growing fairly rapidly. And again, the need to ensure that businesses are aware of the risks and the tools available to them to make sure that it's safe, sound and secure is instrumental.
And how can businesses be aware of that? Is this an awareness problem that needs to be addressed? Is there enough information out there when people are setting up small businesses? Are they equipped enough to deal with these sorts of issues when they rise?
It's multifaceted. I think, yes, there is an element of awareness, and the role of both CBA and the industry is there to make sure that our customers are informed and aware of the risks and the tools available to them, but also ensuring that as an industry we provide the right solutions when small businesses are entering either the online domain or the in-store payments environment.
So what are your top tips? How should businesses deal with this?
Fundamentally, top tips for small businesses are to make sure that you keep information safe and secure. Don't have it readily available on laptops or mobile devices. Regularly update your software on your mobile and smart terminals and computers. Ensure that passwords and passphrases are kept up to date and changed on a regular basis as well. And be aware of surroundings, particularly in an in-store environment when customers come in and they're likely to potentially conduct fraud, is that you have the right processes in place to mitigate those potential risks.
Well, it's good advice. I'm sure there are small business owners out there taking note of this. David, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.